Well, hello everybody. It is Connor. It is late. You guys are probably seeing this on, it should be Friday, the 4th of October, the day after my birthday, and we are back in ordinary surroundings. Listen, Leeds United have just drawn with Sunderland 2-2. And I was lucky enough to sort of catch the game. The flight was delayed, and then look, we were lucky enough to see it. So what we saw about 55, 60 minutes of it, and I've managed to watch the rest of it tonight as well. But luckily enough, on a bit of a playback. So I want to start off with the positives. What I will say is, if that is the best team in the division right now in Sunderland, with the greatest of respect, I'm pretty confident. I thought they'd be. I thought they'd have shown a lot more. I thought they'd have maybe imposed themselves on us a lot more this evening. I wasn't confident going into this game. It was because I was flying late. I'm not sure, and I wasn't be able to keep on tabs with the result. There was some sort of like control freak element of me there, or it was just the fact that I was thinking to myself, look, we've been decimated with injuries, and when you've got your two defensive midfielders potentially out for a combined period of, I don't know, from what we know, 4 to 8 months, who knows? You were thinking, right, it's a bit of a patched up Leeds side, this. If one of the defensive structure went down in terms of the central defenders, we were in deep trouble, really, because I don't know who the cover would have been. It'd have been DeBayo, who is the child who hasn't made a full debut for the club yet. We were talking on the stream previously on the day of having Charlie Crew in the setup. Charlie Crew, who has not had a full senior debut yet. So the synergy between him, maybe between Rothwell and Tanaka, would have been a little bit off. We know with Rothwell and Tanaka, this is a completely new thing. It wasn't a thing at the start of the season, and there's a reason it wasn't a thing. Then there is a reason Rothwell hasn't been starting for Leeds United in Daniel Farke's eyes. Look, there is a reason for that. Of course there is. He doesn't prefer him. And let's be honest, even when Tanaka came in, I know it was early, but it was the Ampadu and Gruev show. That was his pairing. So to completely flip the script and to now have two, in my opinion, more attacking defensive midfielders that we have right now is a big, big change for Leeds United. And with Chris Rigg, who we know can bomb forward, I mentioned it in my preview, he's not just your out-and-out defensive midfielder. He's at a base, but he can get forward. Joe Bellingham, I think, is more box-to-box, probably a little bit like his brother. I thought we might have troubles in that defensive area, to be honest with you, because who's covering? Have they got that cohesiveness? Have they got that partnership yet? Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? I didn't think we had that yet. So to see what we saw tonight, which for me was a performance of which I thought Leeds were the better team. I thought Sunderland had spells of which you would expect. Of course, you would, especially at the Stadium of Light. But to say we went there last season and struggled to break through whatsoever, struggled to gain any sort of territory, dictate anything, especially when it came to tempo. I thought tonight with a makeshift side, with a brand new midfield, who for me tonight worked really well together. Again, Rothwell, I think, is going from strength to strength. He wants the ball. He's always looking to go forward. His passing accuracy looks very good. His passing is crisp as well. But for some reason, he was a bad footballer because he'd not had minutes on the pitch. Never understood that. And I had an obsession with him. And now we're seeing when he's starting football matches, how he's actually able to imprint himself on proceedings. And it's really weird for me to see the sort of leverage Solomon gets with our fan base in comparison to Rothwell. I don't understand it because they're both lone players. Rothwell just seems to be, before this week, just cast out and he's not good enough and he's never going to get in. I sort of always had faith that he would be good enough and he would still be able to do something within this side with what you've seen of him previous. You don't even have to watch him at Southampton. What about a Bournemouth? What about a Blackburn? He's had a previous career. He's 29 years of age, for goodness sake. So him coming in and vindicating himself, for me, this past week has been very satisfying. So him and Tanaka between each other look like a really composed pairing. If they can get almost that defensive solidarity sort of infused even more, that'd be really good in that midfield. And hopefully that's something we can look forward with. We know Charlie Crew is a little bit more of a 6. He can sit at the base. He's probably not got that defensive awareness that any of them have at the minute, that Gruev and Ampadu do. But he has that passing accuracy. He has the ability to dictate things as well. And maybe we just have too many of those similar profiles in there now with Crew, with Tanaka and Rothwell. who don't really have that defensive nature about them, but they can all play football, and that's all you want in there. The technical footballers, and I like that. So, and these are all the positives going into this game, and the performances that we've seen really over the 90. And Firpo's buzzing for him. Lovely little finish, lovely little interchange in the box. The pockets were good tonight as well. I thought, Sunderland will look worried when we're interchanging, when we're underlapping, overlap. I thought you saw way more of that from Firpo. You've seen way more of the crosses into the box as well. Peru, good finish, and I'm buzzing for him as well. Came in. I didn't think he should have started, and I still don't think he should be starting. I still think it should be Joseph, but that's my personal perspective. If the manager isn't going to go to a 2, then I still want Joseph starting. I think he's shown more than enough this season. I'm not going to double down on that. I'm not going to go back on it. I still believe he has, and we're getting messages through saying, Joseph wouldn't have done what Peru did tonight. How do you know? How do you know? It's just hypothetical again, So, yeah, I am a fan of Joseph. He just needs that goal now, and hopefully that'll inspire him a little bit. But maybe it's just Peru's place to lose now. I don't know. But I still think we're going to Peru's not just a different player overnight. I still think we're going to see some of the same tendencies. We're still going to see him score, I think. And hopefully that'll become more of a thing. So you literally can't drop him. But if he doesn't score, what else is he offering? And I think that's the thing, really. So, yeah, Joseph being dropped was a big decision, but Peru went and scored. So it's vindicated the manager. And what I will say is tonight, I think, or this evening, or against Sunderland, I should say, when you guys are watching this, I thought he got it right. I thought I got it right. That's not on Daniel Farke at all, what's happened this evening. The positives are, what's happened. I did think against Norwich, I did think in the last 15 he got it wrong. I thought we could have won that game. So the fact that we've come out with 2 points out of these 6 is good. We've not had a defeat. It's been a tumultuous time. But we do have to move on to Ilan Mele. And what more do we need to say on this channel about him? A below average goalkeeper, throws the ball into the net in a huge game, of which if we'd have got 3 points there, that would have been a statement result. Yeah, he has just helped his old coach by throwing the ball in the back of the net. And obviously, guys, I know it's not intent, but I do miss this sort of era of football where it's like, no, it's your fault, and you take the blame. But now social media has come into contention. Unfortunately, there's excuses for everyone. Oh, you just need to support. You need support. It's not about being critical thinkers anymore. It's not about looking at a football game and saying, "Now that wasn't good enough." It's all about being like, "Oh, support, praise, positive, everything." There's no balance anymore. It's just support, praise, and that plays to the gallery because people like to hear that, because they don't like to be critical thinkers because it's negative. It's perceived as pessimistic, and they don't want to hear that. I always feel on this channel we try to provide solution, but balance as well. Unfortunately, he is nowhere near good enough for this club. Goals prevented statistic last season was in the minuses. His save percentage last season for a team in the top 2 for a large portion last season was in the 60s. When you had Hermansen in the 70s, Hledaki in the 70s, he's just nowhere near good enough. And tonight was an abomination, and you will never see anything like that from any other keeper this season. And in the next probably 5 seasons, that is staggering. I've never seen anything like it. I had to watch it about 3 or 4 times. And, this is the thing with Farke saying last season, quote, he's the best keeper in the division. Then he's made him vice captain. Mele's essentially said on record as well, he wouldn't be moving to Chelsea if he wasn't going to be starting. What are we doing here? So there's your January move. And if they don't do anything in January, they should have done it this summer. We were doing this on the Rumour. We were talking on One Leeds about this 3 years ago, and it's boring now. But tonight is just another indication of how you can't rely on him. The keeper sets the tone for the entire back line. You saw them all go to the heels. They've all been absolutely dogged in that performance this evening, trying to get 3 points. And then the keeper just throws it in like that. I've never seen anything like it. But the keeper breeds confidence. You have to believe me. My old man, 60 years of age, right, talks about he's seen all the great keepers at Leeds United. Don't believe me. Listen to a 60-year-old man say it. He's seen everything at Leeds United. He'll be able to tell you how it instills confidence in the back line, in the unit, in the team. You don't have to believe me. The arrogant and cocky lad who says it. Believe him. Believe all the people on the channel that we have who say the exact Same thing. Believe the guy who's the most positive Leeds fan on planet Earth in David Brown, who goes home and away with Leeds. It's the one thing we agree on. Don't believe me, believe him. It's just got to a point where at some point we're going to have to see that a goalkeeper saves you 13 to 15 points a season. This guy ain't doing it. And they're the marginal gains. We talk about set pieces. Goalkeepers are massive in football. Look at all the top teams in England: City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Edison, Raya, Alisson. No coincidence. Real Madrid, Courtois. All of the top teams, even relative level, have good or very good goalkeepers. We don't have that. There's no statistic that can back that out, even outside of this game, apart from clean sheets, which is the unit. So, unfortunately, what we've got to look at is the perspective of how we are right now. A point at Sunderland's not a bad result, but we should have won. And that's how we're looking at it. And that's the standard and the expectation we should be setting as Leeds United fans. We should have won that game, not a point gained. That's 2 lost, unfortunately. And it's not half glass empty, half glass full. The expectation of this football club should be up there, not sort of there. And unfortunately, that is where we're at right now. And I think some harsh conversations will have and need to be said in that changing room at full time. But guys, listen, how we've got to look at it, I'm trying to look at it as a bit of a shit sandwich. They're not great. Burnley haven't been great. No team so far we've played have been great. It's not on the same level as last year. That's the positive to take out of this. And I think still we have more, especially with the weakness that we have at our disposal right now in terms of the players that we have out. We're still competing and we're still been the better side. We're the better side against Norwich, better side against Sunderland. Look, Burnley enacted a game plan. They won the game. I felt they deserved to win because of the game plan being enacted in a very good way. But we're the better team, you know? So I think there will be the great equaliser across the whole season. But these incremental bits need to be improved on. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in a bit.